Welcome to Kikis chat. I'm trying to find my music to play. That's why there was silent for 1 second. But I'm going to play Selfish, King Promise. Now, some people, because of the topic we're going to be talking about, some people think it's selfishness on the men's part to want polygamy. But some people also have different views. I will come back and I'll introduce my guests, and we're going to do exactly that.
Good. It's all right.
You can't hear.
No, it's all right.
Can you hear the song?
Yeah, it's all right. It's so good for me too. It's a nice music. It's a kind of music. Nice.
Yeah. Today, good evening, listeners. Today is Wednesday, the 10th of July. We're bang slap in the middle of the year. The weather is warm. It's been sunny during the day. I love it. Mother Nature is still being kind to us. Hopefully, it will stay dry for as long as possible. I have two guests today. We have Abu Shaw. He is an editor and publisher of the Organizer.net newspaper. And you have a lot of African issues and all of that. People, you need to read that paper. If you go onto the computer and type in the Organizer.net newspaper, you will get all the things that you need to know, very current and with the program. I also have with me Sylvanus Warminer. He's an educator, university lecturer. He is quite, what shall I say? He's a very good advocate for politics in Africa. He's traveled great lengths of Africa. He knows places. He even goes, the last time you went, you brought some chili from Africa. That killed my fish. So, yeah. Welcome, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you, Kiki, for having
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Now, this program really is for women. This program is by women, for women, and it deals mostly with women and children's issues, and we talk about things that affect women. However, when I put this advert out 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, a few days ago, asking women who would like to come on and talk about polygamy. I did not get favorable answers. And the strangest thing was that some people politely replied and said that they're concerned about what other people would think. They had views and suggestions to tell me so that I would read those things out. But they themselves didn't want to be seen telling me things about polygamy. Some of them had the experience in their homes. Their father was not necessarily polygamous, but he may have had other women and other children, and therefore it compromised their whole family issues, etc. And they don't want to talk about their family issues. Ladies, how do I help you if you are always hiding? You have to bring your head up. We have to talk. I'm talking. You don't have to talk about yourself. You have to give analogies. You can give examples. It affects not just you and other people. I am not telling you off, but I'm trying to say that if we hide, our issues will not be addressed. Anyway, when I advertised to the men on my phone list, I had 7 gentlemen happy to talk, 7 gentlemen who had different views, actually, and then I had quite a few who were quite happy to either ring in or send me. Somebody sent me videos. Even up till just before the show, I was sent a video just to see that polygamy is very necessary, etc., etc. Now, ladies, when a man is keen on polygamy and you, the women, are not keen, but you don't say, trust me, it will happen. That is the thing that you don't realize. Now, I just want you to know that I understand your views, but you really have to this is the age of knowledge. This is the age of research. We've got internet, we've got everything. This is when we start talking to do things for ourselves. Now, when they say sisters are doing it for themselves, it doesn't mean that a man will come on my show to come and tell me his view, because he's not marrying himself. He's going to marry a woman or many women if he's into polygamy. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm not upset. I'm just concerned that we are not trying for ourselves. Now, these kind of subjects are a little bit difficult, I know, but it has to be talked about. Now, other people are doing it. People from other countries are quite happy to open their mouths and talk. This is an Afropolitan radio station, so it is for you. Now, if I am here representing you, are you leaving me to talk all by myself? I do not come from a polygamous family. Therefore, I will not be able to be talking eloquently and forcefully about something that you don't like. You have to come here, or you have to find someone to come. And if I'm inviting you guys to come on, especially the educated ones, the ones who have been well read, who have met other people, in my list, on my phone list, I have people who are counselors. I have quite a few lady friends of mine who are advisors. I have lawyers. What are you doing for other women? Ladies, please. I'm getting calm now. I have men in my studio. Listen to me. You have to help yourself. And as you help yourself, you are helping other women. If you have something happening to you inside of your home, and this is even opening the matter wide and talking about domestic violence and all the nasty things that happen, and you keep it a secret in your house, you're not helping yourself, and therefore you're not helping other women. I am here. I am giving you the chance to come on my show and talk about the difficult things so that we together, me and you, will solve it. So, ladies out there, if you're listening to this show, and I know you are, I can see some of you on my Facebook, I can see some of you on ABN Facebook. I'm not telling you off. I am just telling you that it is important that we talk. Now, my gentlemen are here and I'm very grateful. Let us talk. What is polygamy?
Is it me?
Yeah, it can be you.
Yeah, polygamy is when a man has more than one wife, you know, or have more than one girlfriend. Because it doesn't necessarily mean it should be a married wife. You know, you can have 2, 3 girlfriends. You are still polygamous.
So the concubine is, the word polygamy is, and does that is including children, or if you're in relationships with no children?
Yeah, whether children or not, it's still polygamous, because when you are with one woman, it's different, you know. Yeah,
it's a monogamous, just one.
It's mono.
Yeah.
So when you say poly, that is more than one. So
okay.
You know, and me, as far as I'm concerned, I think the polygamy is, let me say monogamy is, to be frank, it's redundant as far as I'm concerned.
It's redundant?
It is impractical, it is non-existent.
Monogamy?
It is only in theory, but it is just like people dreaming. People pretend to be monogamous, but they are not. 99% of men are polygamous.
Really?
And 90% of women are polygamous. So the ring is just a formality to fool themselves or fool the public. It is a reality that people should face, because whether you pretend or not is something that, especially with the Africans, it's something that we met long time ago, even before the white men touched Africa.
We were being polygamous.
Yes.
Okay.
And women were well respected by then. Now women are not respected at all. I don't know, because of the Western influence. They pretend to have human rights equality, but it's not. Before a white man touched Africa, during the time of let me say the 6th, 7th century, when we have Ghana, Mali, Songhai, those times, that's what the greatest civilization that the world has ever seen.
And at that time
women had power.
And they were polygamous.
Yes, and we had power. We had, those times, we have gods that were women. We respected women so much. So we don't have this problem of equality.
We had goddesses.
Goddesses.
Yeah.
Who were well respected.
Okay.
So things like what the West is saying about equality, we never even thought about those things, because a man, you can't say your mother you are equal with your mother. It's not even, we don't even think about those things. A mother who had you 9 months in her stomach and had you and brought you up, you don't even think about those things. So our civilization by then was just very spiritual and pure. But there are most people who don't know history, don't know these things. They think it's the Western civilization that is helping the African women. It's not. It has just damaged our culture.
The Western civilization has damaged our culture. And this is in relation to polygamy, basically. Okay. What have you got to say about that, Sylvanus? Is your view polygamy the same as Abu Shaw's view?
I think the views may be the same, but he appears to be in favor of it.
Okay, yes. You're in favor of polygamy, aren't you, Abu?
Yeah, of course, because it's part of...
And I am not.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
Ready for you.
polygamy
Mm-hmm.
is defined as having more than a husband or a wife. And specifically,
Mm-hmm.
if a man has more than one wife,
Mm-hmm.
that comes under polygyny.
Mm-hmm.
And when a woman has more than one husband, it comes under polyandry.
Okay. But let's stick to the man and the 3 women or 2 women.
Right.
The women's discussion will come later.
Yeah. Now, in many cases,
Mm-hmm.
when you have more than a wife,
Mm-hmm.
they may not go on well in a house.
Yes.
It leads to a lot of dissent,
Yes.
fighting,
Jealousy.
jealousy,
Mhm.
thank you very much, and so many other things.
Mhm.
And this can spill into the children.
Mm-hmm.
And the children may also hate each other.
Okay.
And that is not good for a healthy family.
Okay.
There is the talk of power.
Mhm.
I did hear that in those days,
Mhm.
if you had so many women,
Mhm.
so many children,
Mhm.
you have power in the society.
You had power.
Yeah.
If you, I don't understand. Can you explain that a little
Well,
bit?
if you have a lot of women,
Mhm.
or you marry 3 or more, and you have more children,
Mhm.
you come across as the big man in town.
Okay.
Okay? You can control a lot of things. You know, you are very well respected.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, those days are past and they are gone. Those days when we need so many children
Mhm.
in a family
Mhm.
so that they can go to the farm
Mhm.
and work,
Mhm.
all those days are gone. Okay?
Okay.
So we don't really need that now. Now, at the time,
Yeah.
when we are talking about family unity
Mhm.
and gender equality, we are going to see a lot of disagreement. And when these things happen,
Mhm.
it leads to unhealthy rivalry. It can extend to the families. The 2 women's families or the 3 women families could be very unhappy with what one other woman is doing. And the extended family
Mhm.
becomes disorganized,
Yeah.
unhappy,
Mhm.
and that will make the whole family become unstable.
Okay.
Now, how much will someone be earning
Mhm.
in order to marry 3, 4 wives
Well, you know,
in today's world?
yeah, but in history, maybe the man was marrying several because the children then went to the farms, and the bigger the farm, the more children he had, and the women, the children, everybody was busy on the farms, and so having numbers was important.
Again, to
Mhm.
that,
Mhm.
I would say we are in a modern world now
Yeah.
where there is agricultural technology.
Mhm.
Machines are now working in the farms.
Okay.
So we don't normally need so many hands from a particular family to be there.
Mm.
Businesses are being set up. There are a lot of contractors over there. If you want to harvest your products,
Mhm.
you can get them, and they will come and do it for you for a fee. So
Mhm.
you wouldn't need that large size of family members to be working on the farm.
Mm.
One argument that they may also put forward
Mhm.
is that after wars,
Mhm.
a lot of men are killed,
Yes.
and women outnumber men
Mhm.
by far. So it will probably be prudent
Mhm.
to have men marrying some of these widows of war.
Okay.
Yeah, that may be fine, but again, we have orphanages where we can employ these women to work over there.
Which women? The wives who haven't got husbands?
Yes,
Oh.
the widows of war.
Okay.
We can set up orphanages
Mhm.
they can work over there and income, and then look after their children. They are looking after children at the orphanage, including their own children,
Okay.
and they are earning money.
Okay, can I just come to Abu Shaw, who has, I could see that you were itching to talk. So what did you want to say?
Yes, about the polygamous family that Mr. Silvanos has just talked about, the disunity. I don't believe all polygamous families are not united.
Really?
There are so many of them with 4 wives, they are so united that you don't even believe that they are mates. You know, all depends on the respect from the husband with the wives. If the wives respect the husband, the children definitely will be in line. There will be no commotion. Because last for me, for example, I came from a polygamous family.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad had 4 wives.
Did you all live in the same compound?
The same house, we eating from the same pot. Each wife turns, they take care of the food. They cook for everybody.
Okay.
You know, and with the children, we were all together. You know, so everything went well up to this point. We are all over the world. We are still together. So whenever we have like a meeting or family affairs, and we don't need to invite all our friends, because we alone and the children, you know, we are enough to make a population, and we just solve problems.
Now,
you know?
Can I just ask you a question before you carry on there? I don't want to forget the question, but the question is, if you were all together, does that mean that was what was happening in the whole of the society of where you lived? Is it an agreed thing for everybody? Because you see, in some societies, it is not normal for the father and his 4 wives and the children to all live together. Most people are just monogamous. And
there are some families who are having problems. The wives were not united, you know, and argue a lot, give the husband headache, and the children to follow suit. So I can understand that. But to just say all polygamous families are not united, it's not true.
But then does that mean that you knew a lot of other people who were quite blissfully happy in their polygamous life?
Yes.
Really?
Of course.
Okay.
You know, and up to this point, they are now adults. They have their own families. They are, you know, still united. You see, because the point about the problem why I don't think a monogamous family is in existence, because me, as far as I'm concerned, is redundant. There is no monogamy, as far as I'm concerned.
Then
it's because there are so many people. They have 1 wife at home, but they have 2, 3 girlfriends
outside
in the corner.
Okay.
The wife with the ring is at home.
Mrs. Ring.
Yes, just the ring there. But the wife, the husband is being shared by the girlfriends around, and the husband spending time and money to these girlfriends, and you know, and their children if they have children, you know, and it's not healthy. Yeah, because you know, at the end of the day, the husband does not spend most of her time at home. Yeah, where the ring is, where it's official that this is the wife. So, and as a result, the wife with the ring is feeling uncomfortable. You know, and suspicion will grow up, and more jealousy, more commotion. So when, you know, people just pretend as if, you know, men are you know, let me say, most men, they say most men are, you know,
polygamous, or they want.
Yeah, they think their husbands are not cheating, but it's not true. Only 1% of men
don't cheat. And who are those men?
Well, there are very few. Just 1%.
Hey, now you're going to get women all over.
No, it's true. People just pretend as if they are, oh, I love you, you are the only one. It's lie. You know, any man that tells you that man is lying. So I'm telling you. So, you the women, I'm not saying you are perfect, because there are some other women too. They have their own boyfriends anyway.
Whilst married?
Yeah, of course. They are married, but they still have, because they suspect that their husband is cheating. So they too, you know, have their own somebody in the corner, you know. So being monogamous does not mean you have peace or you are more united. You know, all depends on the respect from the husband and the wife, and vice versa.
Okay.
Because the reason why I think this the polygamous is prevalent. It's not only in Africa or
No.
Asia. It is even in the West. Even it's here.
Even in this
Even
Britain.
here, that ring is just a formality.
Are you saying that a dyed-in-the-wool Englishman, for example,
Oh, there are so many of them.
he will have a girlfriend?
Yeah, we also
And,
we hear about Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
It's just one example.
Yeah.
Top. They just hide. It's just because they are not caught. That doesn't mean they are not doing it.
Okay.
You know?
The number to call, if you want to call, is 0208 670 7300. The number to call is 0208 670 7300. Are you Christian or Muslim?
Well, I am.
Both.
Well, I believe in spirituality.
Okay. So,
I believe that there is though I came from a Muslim family, okay, I have to be a moderate one, but I believe in the African spirituality. Believe that there is an Almighty that takes care of everybody in the universe.
okay. Could it be that I'm just interested to ask you one more question before I move on to the 4. Could it be that maybe in homes where there is silence and happiness and all of that, the women are not fighting, that the man possibly may have be financially sound?
Yes, I think that's one of the main condition for a stable family.
The money.
Especially if you have even when you have one wife, you have to have some financial security. Otherwise,
There is
you are in trouble.
contention in the house.
Okay, let alone now you have 2, 3 wives. That's more chaos. But with money, you have the means to take care of them. At least, and especially if the wife come from a good family.
Yeah. Whether she came with her own money.
Yes, not a wife that you meet in the club and you meet, but from a family where everybody put their hand for the marriage. Those type of well brought up women, if they meet their first woman or second woman, they will not cause too much problem because they have a family that they are ashamed of, so they would like to protect the name of their own family.
But
So,
I want my husband to myself every night.
Yes,
I want
but-
us to sit down and watch TV.
Yeah, but that's
My
the thing.
hand is on him. I am lying halfway down.
It is the
I
best.
am all over. So if there is other women, then there's control on me. I
know,
can't cope.
it's not easy, but if you have a very good monogamous family, without any problem, without the man is not cheating, the woman is not cheating, I think it's not bad.
But it is rare.
But you can't see that. It is not practical. That's why I believe everybody is polygamous.
I'm getting confused. over
Okay,
here.
yeah. Well, tell me what your views are, because this is just, I don't know, I'm just a little concerned.
Yes. We have just looked at the definition of polygamy,
Yeah.
and it states that you have more than a wife,
More.
than a wife, or more than a husband. Do girlfriends come under that?
As long
That
as
is the
there's a
first
relationship.
question.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. I'll answer.
Do girlfriends come under that?
Yeah, well, he's asking
So-
you.
Yes, of course.
Speak into the mic.
They are girlfriend or wife, as long as you have relationship with them. And it's polygamy. There is no other definition about that. It's just perhaps it's a different word, but it means the same because it's a woman. It's a human being you're having relationship with. So this marriage business is just a formality, ceremony. But as long as you have girlfriends or concubines, as they call them,
Concubines.
you are polygamous. It's not
Wow.
having just 1 or 2 wives at home with rings.
Okay. What do you have to say about that? I'm getting a bit concerned because if you're saying that the majority of men out there, even in the Western world, all over the place, they're all liars. They all, even if they are married to one person, they have somebody out there or some people out there and all of that.
99%.
How do they run their lives? Because, it's just, women would prefer that everything stays within, because you have children and the children have to grow, and you have to leave them things, and you have to protect and look after and educate your children.
Men, as long as they are not caught, they are sent.
So why are you going outside though? Why would you want more women? What is it that is making men want more women? Why?
Well, I think it's something about nature. They just feel that one is not enough.
One is not enough for what?
Well,
for what?
Well,
you have a wife.
Other reasons. Some men think if the woman is like sick, like having a period, they don't have patience.
In sickness and in health. Come on.
Especially those who have, high sexual feeling. They don't have patience to wait for 1 week or 2 weeks.
For the woman to get better.
Yes, they just,
But in sickness and in health, this is your partner, your life partner.
Yeah, well, that's what they say, with the Bible and the Quran. But it is not practical. People lie a lot. That is that's why we have a lot of evil in this world, because people pretend as if things are all right, but hypocrisy is the main problem. It's the main problem. Seriously, and I feel so sorry for the good women who are sitting down there, patient, so innocent, pretending to have
a good husband.
Then when the husband goes out, say going to work, at times they are not even at work, they lie. Where are you? Hey, darling, I love you. They are somewhere else doing something.
What? So, Sylvanus,
yes.
The question I needed to ask you was, is it legal, though? All of this marriage and all these women and all these lies that you say the men tell. Is it legal? For example, in Ghana, Nigeria, is it legal to have more wives? What is the whole plan? Because it seems like lots of people have more wives.
Well, in some countries it is legal. In others it is not.
Okay.
I was just reading something today.
And
it looks like in South Africa.
We've got a caller.
Okay.
Hello, caller. Hello. Where are you calling from? Good evening. Okay. We're listening. Yeah. Mhm. Can you speak into is there some noise in your background, or is your radio on or something? Because we can't hear you. Okay. We can't hear you, so can you repeat what you were saying? Yep.
Statistics you look at.
Yeah.
And what is he suggesting? I mean, he's projecting monogamy. I think it would be unfair on some of the women. So I would just like to know what he thinks about the issue of the proportion of women to men in the world. That's my question.
Okay.
Right. I'm aware that there are more women in the world than men. But then, that does not mean we should marry more than one. There are so many problems that come with marrying more than one. And we have mentioned a few of them already. And much as you would want to argue,
Hello?
yes,
Yeah.
much as you would want to argue that you want to even things out so that every woman gets married to a man, and so a man must marry more than one, you need to look at these problems that come with them. There are some women who keep quiet in relationships, not because they are very happy with the relationship that is going on, but they swallow a lot, and it leads to deterioration of their health.
True.
Okay? Now, you don't want this to be going on. If a woman's health deteriorates in a house, you know how it leads, or you know what it leads to. You know, the whole family gets seriously affected. Yeah, I think I touched on that one already. That gone are those days when perhaps we need so many family members to work on the farm. But right now we have moved into the mechanized age where machines are working on the farms. You don't need those many people coming from one particular family. Thank you. Thank you for thanking me, sir.
Abusho, what is your view on this?
Hello?
What is your
Hello?
view?
Well, I think the idea that the polygamous family need more children because of famine, I don't think that was the only reason why they had the one children. You know, they want there are some other reasons, because even right now with many children, once they are well brought up, the chances of developing the family is greater than having one. You know, because you know, there is death around the corner. So if you have like only one or two, then something happen, then you are childless. It's a problem. But when you have 4, 5, 6, you know, no matter what happens, if God takes one or two, you still have others that you say, these are my children. So that's why some people need more children. This all depends on how they are brought up. Because there are some other families that have plenty of children, but they are not well brought up. They all go astray. A lot of problems. You know.
And could it be that is why it is better to be in a monogamous family where you can control the number of children you have, they don't go astray, you can afford to educate them, you can afford to feed them, and they are not all over the place. It's very difficult just to keep a wife and 3 kids in a home. So how are you going to manage a wife, 3 kids, and then some other woman and 2 kids, and then another? What? How?
Well, that's why the man should be
financially.
Honest, and he should be very honest with the wife. The wife, if you are in a monogamous relationship, the husband should be very let me say honest. If our both partners should be honest to one another. Because if the husband decides to have girlfriends, then you know that it will create more problems.
But most times, the husband's girlfriends, let us say, if we're talking about modern day now, this is where we are at, you don't expect, most times the men don't have children with the girlfriends that they've hidden in the corner, as you described it.
There are so many they have, but they don't tell the wife. It's only when there is a problem, they are there, it comes to inheritance. That's the time you see the children coming out. You know, and the will, that's the time commotion comes up, you know, and the wife will be in an uncomfortable position. She, as the legally married wife with the ring, she will just all of a sudden see children coming from everywhere, and they too, they have right to claim. So it is very difficult to say a monogamous family is in existence, because it's polygamous in a different way. Seriously. So you can come in. So I don't believe there's any monogamous family.
Can I take you back a bit? You told us that the reason why a man may want to marry another woman, or probably have a concubine or something like that, could be that he's sexually very active. And may not be able to wait for the period within which the woman is unwell. And so he has to go and look for someone. Now what happens if the women too are very sexually active?
Well, that is...
And at the same time, 3 or 4 women want you.
Well, that's...
What do you say?
Well, that's the reason why I said there is no monogamous. It's a redundant word. Everybody is polygamous, either indirectly or directly.
No,
that's why. But he's giving you the example. These are wives. 3 wives. They're all in the house. One of them may have, let's say, an STD or some illness.
Yes.
And everybody will catch it.
Yes.
Well, is that good?
Well, no, I'm not saying it is a good. I'm not saying polygamous is good. What I'm saying,
yes,
it is a reality. That's what is happening.
Okay.
Those who think that only they have monogamous relationship. It is a fallacy. It is not existing. It's just a dream. People pretend to be monogamous, but it's not in existence. What I'm telling, about 99% of people are polygamous. And it's not something that I favor, because it has a lot of disadvantages. But it is the reality. That's what is happening in Africa, in Asia, in Europe here, where people talk about human rights and equality. It is happening. It's just that the men are not caught. They are very clever, so sly foxes.
But
they are not caught. So that doesn't mean they are not doing it.
Yeah, but does that not mean then that men don't have self-discipline? Because, what is this? Why can you, if your wife is not well, can you not wait for her to get better? Why do you have to be with somebody else? And then we talk about this issue of if one person has an STD, as you are saying that nobody is, everybody is busy having affairs or doing other things because you see,
many people, not all.
But why will they not? If you have a husband and you only see him twice in a month.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It is very difficult to have this monogamous. It is in reality, paper and pen, they sign, yes, I alone with you. But in the actual fact, it is very difficult for that to exist. I don't think it's really practical, because if you have 99% of men who are cheating, it's not that they married the second wife, but they have girlfriends. It's the same. There's no difference, because they spend time with them, they spend money with them, they spend everything with them.
Let me read something that someone just sent to me. She said, one of the reasons I have not gotten married for real is I would only do so if the man who was marrying me can guarantee he would never have sex with anyone else while he was making love to me, as in our relationship was intimate. The thing is, once you marry and then involve another person in your home and in your life, you are opening spiritual doors that could even harm your children or your spouse or yourself.
Yes.
What about that? How would you?
Well, it's true, because that's cheating. If you as the man, you have a wife, you said, okay, this is my legally married wife, in good health or bad health.
Yeah, in sickness or in health.
Then you go out and cheat. You are causing problem. That means you are no longer monogamous. You are a polygamous husband in disguise. You pretend to be monogamous, but you are not.
So, but your polygamy is very wide, because the way that we see polygamy is somebody who legally marries 3 or 4 women. And most times with the Muslims, for example,
yes,
you let your wife know that this is, and I'm bringing in a new wife, and marriage is done, the wife is there, all of that.
Well, that's why a Muslim prefer to do it that way, because they want all the wives to know that, well, you are mates. You are the first wife, second wife, third wife, fourth wife. But why the monogamy is let me say deceptive is because the man pretend to only have one wife, but behind the wife, while the wife is at home, he goes out and get 1 or 2 girlfriends around. That is the same polygamy. It's polygamy. That's you can't name it in any other way. It's not because the girlfriends are not married to you. The husband is
basically he is in a serious relationship with other people, and that is all in the polygamy. And he could even have children, and it's all in the. And once they are children, but when you say these things, can you not see that it affects the children adversely?
Definitely.
For you, you grew up in a polygamous happy family, but the majority don't. Do you, or you are thinking the majority do? Is that what you're saying?
Majority of men, they are doing it. Some are very clever; they are not caught. So
But what about the children?
Wait, the children. I feel sorry for the children in this type of situation. Seriously, because if you have a child and the child doesn't know that he or she has sister somewhere when they are young, and all of a sudden when they are older, then they see a half brother coming. It's shocking. So they are put in a very funny situation, and the parents, they are the one doing that, because there are some other women too, they cheat. So not all men are unfaithful. There are other women too who do it.
No, women only cheat if there is a problem. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes,
and that is not the discussion today. Actually, women cheating is not the discussion. The discussion is, why would a man feel that, because for a woman to cheat, it means there are problems in her marriage.
Yes.
And if there are problems, the man is there, he's not listening to her, can a man listen to advice from 3 different wives at different times? Because people talk only when, pillow talk and all of that, maybe something is going on at work and you are telling him, and then the other woman is telling him, and then this third woman. Now, women can be very conniving, and this is where the problems arise. Now, maybe for you it was good, but...
No, not only for me. There are so many other people in Africa. As long as the husband is rich, because that's one of
but
the...
how many rich people do we
have? Some of them who are rich, they can get 2, 3 wives, and they are well taken care of, each one living in our own house with our children. Well brought up. So in a situation like that, there is less commotion. But when you are the man and you are not rich and you have 1 or 2 wives, you're looking for trouble. So some men prefer to have their own wife, legally married ones, rather than have one at home. Then they have 4 or 5 girlfriends on the street. So those type of things, you don't call that man a monogamous husband. It's a polygamous in another way.
So that's
why I believe it is difficult to say we have a monogamous marriage. Only about 1%, I would say. Seriously.
Oh, my word. Mr. Vanas, are you there, please?
I'm here. I'm still thinking.
You can't think now.
I'm still thinking about that definition of polygamy.
You can't be thinking now. We have to get off with it.
Yes. And we are talking about a married person who has 1 wife and then has some girlfriends or concubines somewhere. And whether this falls under polygamy. Okay? Now he is stressing that it does fall under polygamy.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Let us move from there. The point is, whether he's married to the women or he's not married to the women or whatever is going on with the women, my question was, what about the children? And is it necessary that a man should be in that sort of polygamous situation? And he thinks it is necessary even now in this present life. And I'm wondering whether that is so.
No, I'm not saying it is necessary. I'm saying it is inexistent, but people pretend that it's not happening. I don't support monogamous, polygamous affairs, because it is not good. But it is the reality. That is what is happening.
Yeah, but why? Why?
Well, perhaps it's a human nature. That's the way. But that's the way things have been happening since the time immemorial. So no type of legislation will change that. People just...
But it is illegal, though. As you said, it is happening here in the UK. It's happening in America. It's happening. It is illegal to have more than 1 wife. So are these people marrying the women, or and in secret? Or, for example, somebody in Ghana, for example, people do have second wives, but those wives are traditional wives. They're not. They don't take them to sign, that sort of thing. So they don't have a white wedding, etc., etc. But they are now. Why?
Well, that's a question for the men.
No, but here you are. You are a man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There are some men they marry secretly without the knowledge of the first wife.
Hi.
They do it. It's just because they are not caught. That doesn't mean they are not doing it. And only those who are unfortunate are caught. And they raise their hands up. So I'm sorry, but it's done because they have children, and And the wife, the first wife now will say, okay, I think enough is enough. That's why divorce rate is so high in this part of the world.
This part, because because
yes, so much,
the woman, because if I'm married to you and life is okay and all of that, and then you decide that you want to bring another woman into my space. Now my home is my space.
Yes.
This is where I express myself. This is my sanctuary. My children are free and everything. You bring some woman into my house, she's coming to disrespect me first and second, and then she's taking up your time. The reason why I married you is because you are my king, my beloved man. I want to spend time with you. I want to do things with you. And then somebody else is coming in to muscle in on my power. No. This is my view.
Of course, that's the right view, but it is not happening. Unless you are very lucky. Only lucky women have one man, one wife. Seriously.
Really?
Very, very few. That is the reality. It is.
You have made me lose hope in men.
Listen, you just have to be vigilant. That's all. No, that's the advice. Because we the men, we pretend a lot. There are so many women who are so dedicated, faithful, but the men, I don't know what's wrong with their
The
genes.
men have no discipline. They are weak. They are taken in by This is what you're demonstrating to me.
That is what is happening. Even the very night of the wedding, the man will be watching somebody else. When they are
Night of the wedding.
When they are tying the knot or kissing, you will be watching. So perhaps the man will be liking the way they made. It is. I don't know whether it's something natural.
It's a natural urge.
Yes.
For a man to conquer, constant.
Yes, to have different women. They feel that that machoism, strength. I can't really understand why, but nobody should be fooled that they have monogamous.
So you think monogamy is the myth? It is a total myth.
It is redundant. That word
and
is non-existent.
Sylvanus, you have not fought the corner of the monogamy, the people who want to be monogamous. You have sat there and allowed Bushaw to tell us that polygamy is the way to go.
Yes, he is telling us about a married person who is having some other affairs.
Well,
and
no.
not necessarily with somebody he or she, he has married.
No, he says it can be both. He said it could be both. He could either marry the woman, he could be lying to the women, he could have affairs with the woman.
Well, the consequences are there. We have talked about them. Unfortunately, there are not many of them.
The consequences.
Okay. Yes.
The consequences are many, because I think that not a lot of people are so rich as you described that they can look fully after so many children. If it's more than one wife, every wife has 4 kids. It's just crazy. And if that is the situation, we have another half hour, so we can carry on for half an hour. But if that is the situation, then there are times when there will be hunger. There are times when school uniforms, everybody is wearing hand-me-downs. Everybody is, there are some of the younger children who will constantly be wearing tattered shoes handed down from their older brothers and sisters.
The hypocrisy is one of the things that bothers me.
No, where is the hypocrisy?
Because look for the story that you sent to me.
Mm-hmm.
Those nuns, the mother, the reverend mothers.
Mm-hmm.
About 500 of them in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Who
were raped.
Yes.
Well,
I don't know whether they were raped, but they were. They died because of abortion. Most of them went for abortion. These are reverend. These are godly people who said they should not get married.
They should be chaste.
Yes, but they are doing this type of things. In Rome, it happened in Rome. If something like that can happen, at the Basilica, just imagine. What about the other areas where the God is not there? It will just become worse. It has happened so many times. Even top politicians, top, they are caught. But most of the times they just...
Now, I'm interested in the consequences.
Oh, yeah, okay, what are the
I'm
consequences?
interested in the consequences. When a politician is caught, what happens?
Oh,
Normally the relationship between him and the wife is gone,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
And we've had examples in this country,
Yes.
okay.
in other countries too.
But what about Africa?
In Africa,
Mhm.
well, in some cases, it has led to the dissolution of the marriage.
Yes.
In Africa too?
In Africa too, yeah, in some cases.
Okay.
Most of the time, it depends on the woman's position.
Mhm.
In some cases, it's like blah, 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 blah. The man
Mhm.
is possible to, is able to convince the woman,
Mhm.
okay? And then the woman either forgives him or they come to some agreement,
Mhm.
and then the other woman is taken care of even if she's not married,
Mhm.
okay? But the consequences here is the problem that these children are going to have,
Yes.
the constantly thinking
Mhm.
of either woman of the other one.
Mhm.
When you want to see your man,
Mhm.
he is not around,
Mhm.
and you are thinking that perhaps he is with the other woman. Okay? It is not a good feeling. It leads to a lot of things.
Are you
You
speaking
try
into
to-
the mic?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You are trying to explain something to the woman.
Mhm.
The woman is just not accepting whatever your explanation is.
Mhm.
The woman is thinking that you are lying. You were with the other woman. Okay?
So basically, people are not happy in their home.
People are not happy in their homes.
Yeah.
And I did mention this earlier on.
Yeah, that the
Okay?
women may be silent, but
That is it.
they are not happy. And I agree.
Now, what happens? The woman will be insulting the other woman,
Mhm.
okay, in the presence of the man and
The children.
her children.
Mhm.
And the children will be hearing all these insults,
Mhm.
possibly directed at you, the man,
Mhm.
or the other woman.
Yeah.
And it is probably happening in that house also.
Yes.
Okay? Now, this is not healthy for children to grow up.
It's not.
It's not.
Even
not safe for the children
even
to
if
grow
they
up.
all live together. And as my friend or the person who sent me the text which I read out to you about opening doors, spiritual doors of discontent and evil, sometimes children don't grow, they die because of all the evil things, that the jealous wife may do. Now, there is the story of the two women who were married to the same man. They had a baby. One baby died. It's in the Bible. One baby died, and the other baby didn't die. So they go to Solomon. I think it was Solomon who was... King Solomon said, well, okay, each woman said the baby belonged to them. The living baby belonged to them. So Solomon said, someone bring me a knife so that I will cut the living baby into two. And then you have half and the other woman have half. The actual mother of the baby said, no, it's okay. Give her the baby. I do not want that baby to die. But the woman whose actual baby died,
Yes.
she was the one who was quite happy to have the baby
Yes.
cut into two. Now, this is a story which is actually an example of the jealousy and deceit and bordering on killing a child just because hers died. And we have many stories. Now, in the Bible, I don't know whether you're Christian or Muslim, but you said you're spiritual. There are all of these people, David, Solomon, this person, that person, they were all having wives, concubines, girlfriends, and all of that. And then we are being told that we should be monogamous, one wife. But when we see the troubles that goes on in polygamous homes, this is why it is disconcerting to even entertain that thought. Men especially, who think that they can control this sort of thing. They can control this sort of relationship where they are controlling the wives and therefore controlling the children and everything is hunky-dory. I don't think so.
Even monogamous relationships, they have a lot of problems also. Because there are times some women, because they have 1 or 2 children for the husband, they just become unruly, become very unfaithful because of bad friends, bad influence. You know, it start causing problem for the man.
No, could it not be because they have time on their hands? Their man is not there.
No, it's happening here. You know, I know so many of our sisters, just because they are now in this part of the world, you know, they have 1 or 2 children, they start bluffing. You know, I'm trying to tell the man, say, well, if I don't need you anymore now, because they know when they are single, they have more support. You know, so some women are so greedy. They will make sure the man
women
goes out. Yes, there are some of our sisters.
I'm sure I don't agree with you on
exactly.
this.
So those type of things, when you drive your husband away, and he will go and get girlfriends also, or if possible, get for another married. They will go and marry. I know many of them who go back to Africa and marry there and leave their wives here because they think now they are, they can't control them. So there are times the women too, they have problem, they are not perfect, but most of the problem I believe is from the men, who are not faithful to
their wives.
Yes, to this monogamous something. That's why I don't believe in monogamy at all. I don't believe in that. I don't think it is in existence. People want to be monogamous, but situation most times force them to become polygamous. Seriously, some are so clever they are never caught. The wife will never suspect because they know how to manipulate. The girlfriend, they manipulate the wife. So in between they have, their scheme, working with their scheme. So it's people like that. They always pretend, I have one wife. They are lying.
But you can always, if you are in a monogamous relationship, if the relationship is not going well, you divorce.
But thank you very much. And if you look, most of the divorce now, especially in this part of the world, they are from monogamous in relationship.
Oh, so there's no divorce in polygamous?
No, it is there, but it is most times, especially when it's the marriage is from the families, because it depends on the cultural way of marriage.
So
because like in Africa, there are so many people with all the problems. The wives will still be patient because they would like to leave, but the family will tell them, so you have to be patient. You have 1 or 2 children.
But that's wrong.
Well, they will talk to them and they will
understand.
They will understand, but it is not a guarantee that when you are in a monogamous family, you will not divorce. Look at the divorce rate in this part of the world. It's too much. And it's just 1 man, 1 wife I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I don't think the problems that people have in 1 man, 1 wife marriages would be solved if the man had 2 wives.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not because you are in a polygamous family relationship that means you are the only one having problem. Even those who think they are 1 man, 1 wife, they always have problems.
I can see you have argued very fervently for polygamy. But
because that is what is happening. That is the majority. I'm talking about 99% of men. They are in that, either secretly, directly or indirectly. They are deceiving their wives so many times. They have girlfriends around. You can't tell me they go to work every day. It's just that they are very clever. They are not caught.
So how do we deal with it, though? How do we address the whole polygamy situation? How do we kind of make people become responsible? Because whilst you are talking about this, it empowers more men to feel that they can have children. In fact, the way that you said it means that even the girlfriend who he hasn't married, he hasn't even met her family, but they have 2 kids.
Of course, the girlfriends want a good man where they are getting some support. So they don't mind to have 1 or 2 children for them. They know that the man is married. They don't mind. As long as they have their own apartment, the man is taking care of them. Though they are not official, but they are still like a husband and wife.
You are very, very, you know all these things. Is it because...
No, I have a lot of experience with people who have been doing this, so I know, they deceive the women. You know, so as a result, the women to get fed up and say, well, I think, you know, I have to, you know, ask for divorce
and move on.
And just move on and take care of my children and forget about it. Seriously, you know, it's happening. So it's just because they are not caught, that means they are innocent. There are so many of them doing it. So that's why I don't even believe that monogamy is really in existence. Seriously, it's just a small scream. It's like living in utopia, just dreaming. You know, the polygamy is the main thing. That is what is happening.
And you don't believe that the 1% you're talking about actually?
That 1%, they are there, but I think that will be our mothers and great grandmothers who are so well brought up. They don't have a great, you know.
What do you mean well brought up? It's a well brought up thing that you said it about 6 times now, and I don't understand. When you say well brought up, what does that mean? That they are into the whole societal...
They are much more respectable. They respect their husbands so much that they don't... You know our mothers, they are so respectable. They don't argue with our dad, our grandfather. They don't do that. It's only now that people think they're fighting for equality. You know, as the man...
So you don't agree with fighting for equality?
No, women are already...
They are equal already.
We are equal already. So there's no need to borrow something from the West and say, we the Africans, I'm telling you, I'm sure, Professor, you know about the history of Africa, the civilization of Africa. You know, I'm talking about the time before this, the white or the Arab, because they are the first people who were enslaved us. Yeah, before even the Arab came to Africa, our civilization was the best. You know, yeah, Ghana, Mali, Songhai, these are well civilized. We are the most advanced in the world.
And we were polygamous.
The Western was not. Europe was.
They were in caves.
They were in caves. They were not.
Are you saying that at that time were polygamous?
Yeah, of course. Yes, you see, chiefs. They have a lot of children, and the women were very powerful. They were the agriculturists. They were having businesses. They were the main organizers of everything.
But the world has changed. We've moved away from that time. We're now in
I know, but that's why Africa, that's why we are backward. Because
we've been moved from our
tradition and culture.
I see.
We are embracing a lot of
the Western culture, which is not good for us.
There are a lot of good things here.
Yeah.
But we are forgoing our own good things.
Yes. For
their own bad and good.
Yes.
You know, there are a lot of bad things here. Seriously, we have to pick the good.
And one of the good things is polygamy.
No, it's not. You know, I'm not saying it is good, but I'm saying that is what is happening. I don't support polygamy.
So monogamy is not good. We shouldn't.
It is a redundant word. It is not. It is impractical. It is non-existent.
It is non-existent.
It is not happening. It's just a formality to say I have the ring. You know, I have the ring. What is that? That's just a matter. You know, so that is the main issue. But at least we are in this part of the world, so we have to embrace the good part. That's what I always tell my children. We will take the best part of what we have here and combine it with what we have from Africa.
Now, okay, while we're talking about this present world, I mean, while you're gathering your thoughts so that you join in the conversation, somebody said that Ghana, for example, is a very advanced country. We're developed in so many ways. However, when the average man has 5 to 8 children, or sometimes even 10 kids, how do you educate them? They become displaced children, poorly educated and poorly supported. Now, it is difficult to support even 1 or 2 children in a family. So how do you support all these number of children? That's what I'm saying. If you are, for example, somebody who works for the government, and when I say that, you're a civil servant, or you are a bus driver, bus conductor, etc., etc. These are the jobs that are there now. People don't have big farms and things anymore. How do you look after this number of children? How do you make your wife happy? How do you have a happy home? How?
Well, all type of men should be careful. You can't, when you are poor, you know
you can't afford.
You can't afford. I mean, better you cut your coat according to your size. You can't just go and punish your children for nothing and punish yourself and the wife. just get one and make sure you have one child or two that you'll be capable of, taking care
Looking
of.
after, yeah.
But because you have two wives, then you want to have so many children, then you are not capable of bringing them properly. It's not good for the children,
So
men should-
basically, you are telling us that polygamy is for the rich.
The rich.
Isn't it?
Well, it is good for them. Seriously, it is much more easier for them when they are rich and capable of taking care of 2-3 wives.
And you believe 99% of men are rich.
No,
To
not
be
rich.
in
No,
polygamous
no. There are
relationships
many
with
of them
wives.
who are poor, but they want to go into
And to have the side
Yes.
chick and all of
yeah,
that.
which is not good for them. So it is happening. But if you are rich and you take care of, it's not too bad for them if you are rich. Then that means you are not say deceiving the children. You're helping the children to grow up well. But there are some men who are just buffoons. They want 2-3 wives and they are not capable of taking care of them. There, as a result, chaos. So that's the reason why you have to be tactful. You use your intelligence to.
So if you lived in Africa, would you have more than one wife?
Yeah, definitely, if I'm capable of taking care of them, I will have one or two. Seriously.
But apart from money, there are other way. It's not just money that keeps a family happy.
But
You know that.
But you have to have that. You have to have something good, a good job, good business. You can't just it's money. The world is about money now. Seriously, you can get your education without money. You are zero. And especially to take care of yourself alone is a problem. Let alone you have one wife, then you start having children, then you are not capable of taking care of them. It's not good.
You are taking me into another realm. You see, this dependency on money, or the philosophy of money. If you have it, then that is it. It is killing a lot of families, that.
Definitely. Well, that is what is happening. The world has gone to that stage where if you are not having enough money, then you are nobody. You can't do anything. It's unfortunate, but that is what is happening now.
But there are a lot of millionaires and billionaires who are not married.
Of course. Well, but they have so many girlfriends. You know that, and they have children because they are afraid of this tying down, because it is not easy. Marriage is a real commitment, which is difficult.
Why is marriage not easy? Marriage is difficult, and yet people have 3 wives, 2 wives.
Yeah, those people, they find it easy for them. There are some people, they don't even want one wife because they are scared. But some people, they are comfortable with 4 or 5 wives because they are taking care of them. So it depends on the individual. It depends on your status, on how far you are rich. But some people, they are rich, but they don't need any wife at all. They have girlfriends, because they don't want to be tied down. They think about their money. They don't want too much inheritance, or,
So in this world of homosexuality, how does polygamy play into it?
Well, it is breeding that, definitely, because look at the population of men and women. Every one man, we have 10 women. That's a ratio. So as a result, some of the women, if they are not fortunate to have a man, they will look for a good girlfriend that they like.
No, but he's talking about homosexuality. He's
Yes.
talking about the men. He's not talking about women.
Yeah, we're the same thing. Lesbian and homosexual, they are the same people. There's no difference. So some men too is like that. Some men, they go into homosexuality because they can't function. They are impotent. So they look for men. So they turn the wife, they look for men. So it happens. It's something natural in them, or mechanic, or let me say sickness. Because if you are impotent, then you can't function. Then why look for a woman? You look for a man. Some men are doing that. They go into that because of that. So you don't blame them. Medical reasons. So, but we are going, I think, away from the topic now. But the main thing, I believe that
You know,
business.
the biblical polygamy usually has a bitter ending for all of the people who were polygamous, like Moses and his 2 wives, Abraham his 3, Jacob his 4, David at least 18, Solomon had 700.
Wow. So we are joking.
Yeah, according to the book of Kings, Solomon had 700 wives, princesses, 300 concubines, and then his wives turned away his heart to follow lesser gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God. Do you know this?
Well, I read the Bible when I was in primary school, a long time, But those times, they were different because they used to live 1,000 years, 800 years. Now we don't live up to 100. So
well,
it's a different
maybe
era,
we don't live
different
up to
time.
it because we're full of evil. Now they say that when Eve, for the first time, saw Adam, when they met, when their eyes met, I don't know how. This is all in the Bible. It says, Adam said, "This is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and he shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh." Now, if you do the one flesh, you and your wife, and then you go and flesh with other women as well, what kind of fleshes are these? This is the question. Why? My question is why. We still haven't answered why it is necessary for a man, because none of the reasons that they were doing it in Songhai, Ghana, Mali is necessary now.
Some think it's religious, they follow the script that you can marry up to 9 in Islam. That depends on the condition of the woman. But 4 is the one they talk about,
4?
Yes. If you are capable of taking care of them, make sure you can feed them, clothe them, house them without any problem.
I know, but
you can do that.
Yeah, but that is I know that is in the Quran, and in the Quran, that is in the Quran, and in the Quran it says you must have one wife.
That if you are not capable of taking care of two.
Yeah. If you're not capable of taking 2,
yes.
And if you take 2, you should be able to clothe, feed, and blah blah blah, all of them, all 2.
So some people, they use religion to do that,
Yeah, but they are not capable of clothing and feeding.
Well, that's a
but
big
they
mistake.
still keep taking the wife.
It's a big mistake. That's not proper. You have to look at your condition,
I mean, I am thinking that whilst we are dwelling on this polygamy thing, has it ever occurred to any of the people who are for polygamy, like yourself and all the other men, that women are basically very unsatisfied? They are dissatisfied, they are in discontent, they are full of angst and all sorts of things, and yet the tradition and culture demands that your husband can take another wife up to 4, and therefore they shut up.
Well, it is really not fair on the women, It's not fair because at least women too, they are human beings. They have feelings, They have just like men, But I can't really understand why the religious books say the man should get that and the woman should not get 5 husbands. So, it's sort of bias. I don't know if these books. I don't know really why it happened, but before these books touch Africa, Africa will believe in their own religion called spirituality. They believe that even to cut down a tree, you have to pray. To cross rivers or even to kill ants, you have to pray. Those things were happening before the white man touched that place. So there was religion, there was Islam, there was Christianity. It was when the whites went there and saw the way Africans were living, the civilization, they took some of those spiritual things and came and turned it into religion. And they commercialized everything, So now this
and
Islam...
then killed us as well.
Yes, kill us, That was long before slavery in the 13th century. So, it's a big problem, seriously. That's why Africa is so backward now. There's no head, no tail, because we are off track.
We're totally off track.
We are off track,
But
seriously.
if we're off track, do you not think that some of the things that we do in what we label as tradition and custom and all of that, at this time in our lives, it cannot work, so we should stop it and start to rebuild ourselves. And then when we get back onto track, like how powerful we used to be with Songhai, Mali, Ghana, and all of that, then we can start marrying more than one wife again.
Yeah, well, if you look at like China, they never forgot their tradition. They don't even have time too much for the Western. They forgot about democracy. They went on economic growth first. No human right, no nothing. They did everything to make sure they develop their country. It's now that they are going towards democracy. But we in Africa, we forgot about the main thing, which is economic growth. We start talking about democracy. That's why,
No, but we were colonized.
Yes, well, I'm talking about, that's about long time.
Before colonization.
Yeah, before that, we were having the first civilization in Africa. Everything started from Africa. The art of writing, everything. The white people, they're so clever, they took everything and brought it here. We had the first university in Timbuktu. The landed people, this is from there. They know. But that part of our history, 2,000 years of history, they took that away from our history.
But we could remember our history.
So right now,
I know.
No.
I know my history.
Well, I'm telling you, there are so many blacks who don't know the African history. They don't know.
That's because they have been displaced.
Yes, and it's been distorted. We have dishonest historians who write in lies. If you look for the real African historians, you will know how powerful we are. But
and women were goddesses.
Yeah, of course. In Europe, you ever heard about a white goddess woman? No, never. Only in Africa. It's because of the respect we had for our women. Because you can't challenge your mother. No man is stupid to say I'm greater than my mother. That's stupidity.
Okay, let's leave history a little bit. If you go to Africa today, there are so many children walking about. Very difficult to find their parents.
Their parents?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay? And many of them come from polygamous families. Where either the father is not paying attention to a particular woman and her children, or maybe for some reason the children don't think they can live in the house anymore. They can't take so many of the things going on, and then they leave and find themselves on the streets.
Some of them actually find themselves in across Mali, Libya.
Yeah, going through us in the Mediterranean to that.
Well, now, if you look at all this, do you think you still have to be holding brief for polygamy?
What I'm not, I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not supporting the polygamy.
Okay.
All that I'm saying is it is in existence. We should not pretend that
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist, and it is the one that is existing, not monogamy. Monogamy is not existing. I believe that.
You think monogamy is utopia?
It's utopia. It's redundant. It's something just in the dictionary to just check it and get the meaning. But it is not practical. It is not practical. Seriously, that's all over the world, because there are not so many dishonesty and deception from the man or from the woman. So they pretend for the ring. That's just a symbol, idol of what. But in reality, the polygamy is what is really existing everywhere.
You mean it exists in different forms, but it exists?
Yes, it is. And that's what is having this overpopulation, children who are going without parents, without dad at home. That's one reason. And the other, of course, is like war, because there are some other parts of Africa, the war, Congo and other. Those things, it creates, orphans and other, so there are so many reasons. But the polygamy, to be frank, unless we we believe that it is existing, we will be fooling ourselves. That I have one man, one wife.
Oh, but there are
That's
lots of
one-
young couples who are just them and
they are among the 1%. They are the 48 ones. Seriously.
but as the man grows, he begins to change.
Of course. If
Oh.
you want to check, check for new, that's the problem. It's not fair. Seriously.
A lot of women now, believe it or not, you see, the thing is, one of our mindsets is that possibly that every woman has to get married, and you're married. When you get married, that's when you are respected and you are Mrs. Ring and Mrs. This and all of that. So even when a man wants to be abusive towards a woman, he'll say, yeah, all your friends are married and you are sitting there, go and find yourself a husband, etc., etc. And it is this kind of mindset that then makes people, why do people think a woman is complete
That
or
mindset-
not complete unless she's married? Even if she's married to a man who has 3 other wives, then she's complete.
It is a
That
wrong
is
mindset.
wrong.
It is wrong, really. I don't support that type of mindset. It's better to be single and happy than be in a relationship that you are not happy. And I believe in that.
I don't believe in a relationship where I cannot sit with my husband
You
and
have
watch
to be happy in
TV.
your marriage. Otherwise, what's the essence? It's better to be free because we are all, even twins don't die together. They are separate when they are older. Everyone goes, let alone man and wife.
So your view is polygamy is there in a different form from how it used to be before.
Yes.
People are either, coupling elsewhere, not just the marriage at home. And, they're happier that way.
Yeah. Some people, they like that way, Some people like to be single. It's your happiness. That's the most important thing. Once you are happy and the children are happy, what you need to have a husband or a wife that causing problems. Headache, lot of pressure, police coming in, social coming in all the time. Life is short. Just be happy with yourself. Take care of your children.
So, do you honestly believe
Mm-hmm.
that in a polygamous marriage,
Mm-hmm.
all the women are happy?
No, not all. Not all, especially in a poverty-stricken, a polygamous family. There are a lot
But
of problems.
why are poverty-stricken people marrying? That is the question.
Well, that's the thing. Well, you're just stupid because you're not supposed to be.
No, but you
doing
see,
that.
like we've had this discussion here, people need to understand that you don't have to marry more than one wife. But if you feel it is your tradition and culture, and that your family will come and join you to go and marry the second wife and the third wife, then it's acceptable.
Even at times, it's not even good to start with one wife if you are not capable of taking care of yourself. Because we in our culture, before you ask for
A woman's-
the dad will ask, do you have a place to live?
Mm-hmm.
Are you working?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to feed the wife.
Mm-hmm.
You have to house the wife. If those basic things are not present, the dad will say, no, I don't think you are ready to marry. Because you're taking care of human being.
Well, have you got a last word to say, Sylvanus? We have only 2 minutes.
Yeah, there is a lot to say about polygamy.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't sure whether I should also be speaking in favor of polygamy, because that was not the task that I had. And so, well, we've had a lot of things to say.
Well, Abu Shaw has said a lot for polygamy. He has argued it very fervently and point blankly.
Yeah.
He has not deviated from his view at all.
I just think that there are some other causes of polygamy that he didn't touch on. But then he's only interested in what he sees.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all part of the conversation.
Well, we've come to the end of the program. It has been very enlightening. You guys have to come back again and talk some more about polygamy, because I think it has been enlightening in itself. But thank you so much, Abu Shaw. Abu Shaw is... Where is my paper so that I read out your magazine? Your magazine is... Before, I've got a few seconds. Abu Shaw's magazine is theorganizer.net.
newspaper.
The organized.net newspaper. Every day you can go in there and listen to all the things he has. News from Africa, Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria. The same with my friend Sylvanus.
He's a teacher.
He's a teacher.
In a secondary school.
He's an educator, and he is not for polygamy.
Thank you very much, Kiki, for taking care of us. You know, it's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure.
It's nice to have you.
Over here.
It's nice to have you here, my people.
And I think after this, I'm going to have a short conversation with him. I'll give him more points to.
Okay. Yes, no problem from the wise.
There are more points from his side than there are from my side. And I have a few here that, if I were speaking from his angle, I would have added.
Okay.
But I don't think I should help him. So
okay, don't help him. Don't help him.
Don't help him. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Of a family, consider the potential never realized. Are these the things you consider when you carry a life? It's not about street cred. It's about staying alive. Drop that line. Save your life.
One for the
Oh,
party,
turn
two
you
for
off
the
in a
money,
minute.
three when you shake ya, bam 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 bam. What's up, guys? My name is Yemi Alade. Anytime I'm in London, I'm chilling and listening to ABN Radio, guys. Don't flip, don't miss it. Mwah.
Just let me switch mine off as well. Otherwise, if they play Nigerian music